What up, everyone? Twin City Sports Talk. This is an episode we've been planning for, well, like a week and a half. I keep trying to spoil it on all the rest of the episodes, but today we're going to be going through a ton of listener GM questions. And for people that don't know what a listener GM question is, it's all of you guys. We have quite the following for only doing this a few months on YouTube. So I've been asking, and people have been coming through with some questions, usually getting these questions in the DMs on the Instagram account for the Twin City Sports Talk Instagram. You can also comment questions on some of our posts, whatever social platform you see those on.
Or YouTube.
We'll get to them. Yeah, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, any of those are all. We look at the comments there. Either way, we have a lot of questions we're going to get to, and a listener GM question consists of anything that you guys want. It could be a question about the show, about me and Trevor, personal lives, maybe not as personal. We could see how far down we want to go with those. But no, Minnesota sports in general, we'll do it all. Honestly, it's fun for us getting questions from all you listeners out there. So I think we have like 8 to get to. So yeah, it'll be fun. We have a little bit of Twins news before that, and we also have to go through the Timberwolves game from last night against the Celtics, our prediction segment from that. So, but before anything, we got to get our ad read out there, because just like we've done before, it's a great ad read with Athletes Edge Performance Consulting with Jen Prouty out of Brookings, South Dakota, working with competitive and elite athletes across sports like hockey, wrestling, and football. She helps strengthen the mental side of people's performances by developing skills like confidence, focus, and emotional control in their sport. She works with athletes, teams, and coaches locally and nationwide through virtual consulting, using the evidence-based approaches to complement physical and technical training while supporting long-term development. So to learn more and to talk to Jen directly, her socials are right there for Instagram and Facebook. Website, athletesedgepc.com. Don't forget the PC at the end. That's what she said when we talked last, is people forget the PC at the end of the website URL. Either way, there's her phone number. When you talk to her, tell them we sent you here at we spent you. Yeah, let's get to our predictions from last night's game. It was not a great night from either of us. We both did say the Wolves would lose to the Celtics, which that proved wrong. The Wolves kind of a complete team win here. Contributors, Randall off night, bad shooting, but most of the team was pretty consistent throughout the whole thing. Wolves beat the Celtics 102-92. It's big without Ant, without
it's just no Ant.
Well, just
Reed
Ant.
played. But
Yeah,
still,
Reed,
I mean,
yeah.
Either yeah, great win.
Yeah, no Ant, that's big. And Boston's just getting healthy. Tatum's been back for 2 weeks now, and obviously Jaylen Brown's having a great season. So yeah. Either way, one thing to note, Trevor said Luka Garza would have 10 plus points. I think Luka ended with 6. But
5. But regardless.
5. Either way. Trevor's been gaining on the point category. For anyone that's been keeping up and watching every day, Trevor's been gaining. So I got one to distance myself here. Dante, I said he would have 2 or less threes. He ended up having 2. So I barely got that, but I did. That's 1 point. Now I'm up to 45 in the point category. The record is based off winning percentage, because obviously I've made more predictions than Trevor. And by the way, the season goes from week 1 of the NFL season to next year's week 1. So we got half a year to go here. So a lot more predictions to be made. Plus, we're going to be adding some baseball in there soon with some Minnesota Twins
very
soon. 3 days away from today, Monday, that we're recording. So, yeah, super excited about that. And to stick on the Twins topic, we're done with predictions now. To stick on the Twins topic very quickly before we get to your questions, everyone, Alan Roden, a guy who we've talked about a lot, and he has been tearing up spring ball and hitting 250 or 350. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's been hitting great. Just all spring. The defense is there. He's been leading off in a lot of games, hitting top of the order, but he has been optioned to AAA, which most likely means James Outman has won the 4th outfielder job, obviously. You got to imagine Austin Martin, it would be in there too. I mean, it's kind of obvious at this point, unless they did keep an Emmanuel Rodriguez, but the chances of that
look at that.
pretty slim.
Well, Rodriguez is almost certainly not a shot because he's not on the 40-man, is he?
I think he is. I think they
I think I'm thinking of Rodriguez in my head. I think you're right. Never mind.
Yeah. But yeah, Outman hasn't had the greatest spring either, hitting 220. His slashing line was 220, 340, and then 366, all very below league average. Obviously, guys can be working on stuff, but Outman, I wouldn't say had a solidified role. I mean, he was most likely going to make the team no matter what.
I'm just quickly counting how many guys we've currently got. Keep going. I'm just counting our
one thing. I'll just read. So Aaron Gleeman was not too thrilled about this really at all. And I want to read you this excerpt that Trevor actually sent me over text. That Gleeman, one of the trustworthy Twins reporters, kind of had to say about this. I'm just going to read it word for word here. It's beating a dead horse at this point, but everything would be so much less disjointed and the pieces would fit together far better if the Twins had parted ways with Larnach in November. Instead, he's guaranteed $4.4 million. The logjam of lefty bats is worse than ever, and it's hard to form a cohesive bench group. Meanwhile, if Larnach were removed from the mix, it would open a regular job up for Rodon, make it easier to find a role for Clemens, improve the defense by shifting Bell more to DH and clear a bench spot for a right-handed bat to be used as a platoon partner for the various lefties. Completely agree. I'll register my monthly opinion about how the position player group is poorly constructed with too many lefties, too few righties to complement them, and not nearly enough defensive versatility. Something seemingly has to give. It's a tongue twister, but I've been saying that since November, so who knows? Gleeman, I couldn't agree more. This is something we've harped on so much. I mean, Trevor just brought. It's funny that Gleeman says this now after Rodon gets kicked off the major league squad, because Trevor literally brought this up in yesterday's episode. For people who watched that, we were talking about the Twins roster as a whole, expectations and everything. We have a bunch of issues with Trevor Larnach. He can't play defense. That's one thing Gleeman noted, one thing we've noted a lot. But then on top of it, Trevor Larnach cannot hit a breaking ball at all. Look up the underlying stats, look up the advanced stats of it. He can't hit a breaking ball, not one bit. So the problem here is exactly what Gleeman noted. The Twins had an opportunity to let go of Larnach because guess what are you going to get with Larnach? You're going to get hopefully 250 batting average, and then hopefully 15 to 20 runs. It's nothing for a first round pick. You had the very good chance to let him go. This is a year where the Twins were not going to compete for a World Series, not even close. Let Rodon see what you got out of this Louis Varland trade. Obviously, the main headline of the Varland trade was Kendry Rojas, but you also got a guy who's trying to prove himself in the majors and proved himself this spring. But because you didn't let Larnach go, you can't let these guys prove themselves. It's beyond stupid. And then we can talk about the lefties. The lefty line, like, again, we've talked about it so many times and like gotten way in depth about it. The Twins need right-handed outfielders. And now Austin Martin, he's battling with a concussion, but he'll be back there. Larnach, Wallner, James Outman, and then obviously Byron in center. But who knows if Byron's even going to play like an 80% of the season. Last year was a phenomenon, him being healthy for the whole year, basically. I can't trust, and I don't think any logical Twins fan can trust that Buck will be healthy. And then guess what? Your next guy on the pecking order, it's most likely Alan Rodon when someone gets hurt. But if not, it's another lefty, Emmanuel Rodriguez. And then below him, it's Walker Jenkins. You have Gabriel Gonzalez in there, but there's just lefties. And then you go into the minors, lefties on lefties on lefties. Everything that Gleeman is saying here, completely valid and completely true. I couldn't agree anymore with this. And this is what we said at the beginning of the offseason. We started this podcast right around Thanksgiving. I think it was November 26th, right at the very start of the offseason for the Twins. We knew that Trevor Larnach was going to be arbitration eligible this offseason. We said, no, Yeah, you don't give him an offer. You don't match or however the arbitration process works. No, you can't do that. The guy is not giving you anything, and he won't. You can't just magically fix your problems with defense and not being able to hit any type of breaking ball. Yeah, if this league was only fastballs, he'd be in the MVP, but it's not. The Gleeman, congrats. You won Twin City Sports Tweet of the Year or whatever. Couldn't agree more.
The
Any
one
thoughts,
thing
Trev?
it's really annoying with Roden getting sent down. Now the chances of Outman being on the roster come April, end of April, end of May for sure. I really don't think Outman's going to be on the team. I think he'll be like your first guy that'll have to clear waivers. And so just one, because I don't know how you're going to find playing time for him. And I know they're going to use him as purely as a pinch runner, defensive replacement guy. As long as the core outfielders stay healthy for the most part, early part of the season. So I think Roden will be the first call up for the first outfielder in replacement or just poor play. So I'm not going to sweat it a whole ton. Now if Outman's still on the team come June, so unless he's playing well, which probably not going to happen. I'm not going to sweat it too much. I think they're trying to squeeze the final juice out of the orange for
Outman.
For the lemon. For Outman, just because he didn't have options. They flipped Brock Stewart to.
It was a 1-for-1 trade, right?
Yeah, it was a 1-for-1.
See, that's my issue too. Is like I'm all for trading Brock Stewart. You weren't gonna. Brock was like 33 when you traded him. A ton of injury past and everything, but like just get a young guy. Like James, like Outman never had a shot at being like a contributor here.
I get it. You could have got a prospect unless it was kind of a no-name
guy.
Well,
I'm even thinking like if you're talking MLB The Show, I'm talking like a C potential, like 22-year-old that's still in like single A. Just something you could maybe, just the tiniest chance get some, because Outman never had a chance. He was never going to contribute.
I think part of the fire sale is they just wanted an MLB guy that could just put on a uniform.
That's true.
But no, for Brock Stewart, because it was almost certainly he was going to return, given the multiple arm injuries, age. Yeah. Brock Stewart probably really wasn't too open to the idea of returning to a fire sale of a Twins team.
Nope.
And so they get something out of him in Outman, and I think they're just trying to get every last chance out of him. I think Roden will be on the team come end of April.
But then that goes back to lefty. Roden is also a lefty, so it's like
Well, and I think too. Yeah, I think it might be a problem till trade season happens, and then hopefully Larnach or Wellner gets traded. So
we also had the conversation that the Twins still could do this. Trade one of your starters that's like on the Twins have like 4 guys that are 25 years old right now. Taj Bradley, Mick Abel, those 2 you would not trade. But like Simeon, Zebby, 5 guys, and Festa. Trade one of them for a right-handed bat. We had this conversation a lot in the offseason. I think if you traded Zebby, Festa, because you have guys below them in the minors, you're not really losing a lot, to be completely honest. All of these guys have team control for 4 or 5 years still. Sim might be like 3, but either way, you have them a lot for the future. Trade one of them and get a reliable right-handed bat in the outfield. So that's where my head was at, and I think that could have been a good move. But either way, we can talk about that more. We're going to be having a couple Twins episodes before opening day here, doing predictions about the division standings, who's going to win. We're going to do like who's going to win the World Series, but a lot of more Twin stuff. We'll talk about it then. We are going to get to.
I was going to say one final thought, just kind of wrap up the Twins. So I counted our roster size as of right now. It's 30 players, if I counted correctly. The 5 that are still like probably not going to make it. I have 4 out of the 5 that will probably, or out of the 5 leagues will probably be the remaining
Yep.
cuts unless a trade happens. So you got reliever Kent, and then catcher Jackson.
Jackson's
Utility,
a hard no. That's for
yeah,
sure.
right, yeah. Utility Gray, Wagaman,
Yeah.
and then Kreidler.
Kreidler, I think
Before-
they're going to keep out of those utility guys between Gray and Wagaman. You get no bat with Kreidler, but the defense it's unmatchable within those other two guys. And then Kent will most likely be gone too. So
Yeah, because it looks like the Twins will go because it's 9 relievers if you have Kent on there, which won't happen. So it looks like it will be 8 relievers, 5 starters, so 13 pitchers, and then 13 position players.
Yeah. It'll get more interesting when the day comes, but we'll keep a close eye on that. But either way, we're going to get to our listener GM questions now to actually count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 questions here. And these are some fun questions. So everyone, thanks for commenting. And again, people, do it more. Same people, ask more questions. We can have these episodes every couple weeks if we wanted to. But either way, first one is from Davey Peteman 10123. Davey Peteman. He's asking us, pretty simple one to start us off. Who was your guys' favorite Vikings player growing up? Trevor, I'm going to start with you.
Well, Percy Harvin was fun, just given how athletic and shifty he was. Injuries were a bummer there. I'm trying to not do like obvious ones because Adrian Peterson's going to be there for everyone. It was fun the 09 year with Favre.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of like more core guys. Harvin always pops out because you had Harvin, Sidney Rice. The Williams brothers, Pat and Kevin Williams.
That's
those are some ones that jump out right ahead for more, not so current, but more in my young days, my elementary school and middle school days.
Yeah, it's true. Real quick before I say mine, officially 4,000 subscribers. People,
let's go.
Give a round of applause to yourself a little bit.
Fireworks and come on, make you up. Fireworks. A little bit.
Trevor's trying to do this weird function our streaming service does. There we go. Fireworks.
Sally. There we go.
All right, there we go. Just want to show that real quick. Officially,
Toby
4,000.
Gerhart.
Oh gosh.
Very.
I mean, I'm gonna stick pretty generic here. For me, it's either AP because it's undeniable. One of the best running backs of all time. He was great to watch. But a little sneaky one, I always just completely loved Everson Griffin. Now, that was kind of at the tail end of like my childhood, kind of like middle school and stuff, like high school time. But he was just so fun that brought the energy. I loved his sack. And, well, actually, Jared Allen. Jared Allen was him and AP were my two favorites. Like Jared Allen, the fishing pole with Brian Robeson and Jared Allen. It was too good. Too good. All right. Next one, bit of a deeper one here. Bitso Chocolate. He says, how far are the Wild and Wolves making it in the playoffs? If we had to say right now, how far are each of these teams?
Yeah, without knowing matchups.
Well, here's the thing. We know the Wild's matchup. It's going to be the Stars and then the Avs, basically. So the Wild, it sucks because this could, like, you got Quinn Hughes. You got Bobby Brink at the deadline. It's not a huge move, but you got Bobby Brink. You made moves this year. You look complete for most games. I don't think the Wild make it past the second. I think we can beat the Stars. I think we can definitely beat the Stars.
Well, I don't think you would. If we beat the Stars, I don't think we play Avalanche till third round then. Because they'll be the one.
Yeah,
they'll be. I think you would play.
Well, it depends. Well, we'd play the Ducks. Well, okay, so let me reframe this. If it's the Ducks we play in the second round, I'm taking the Wild in that series in 6 games.
Any Pacific team for sure. And then
maybe not Vegas just because they have our number. But
I mean, I still like us over Vegas. So
I do too. But
terrible there.
Hey. The Stars just lost last night too. I didn't know that. They lost to Vegas too. The Avs overtime, but now the Wild are, if they can win, do they play tomorrow night, Tuesday? Yeah, they play tomorrow night. If they win tomorrow night, 3 points behind Dallas. So we talked about this stretch for the Wild. Either way, we're going to be playing Dallas no matter what in the first round. I think we can beat them, but it's honestly 50-50. It'll be a very, very good series no matter what.
But yeah, no, back to the question. At least for the Wild, if you can beat Dallas, I think you make it to the Western Conference Finals. Assuming I have it right in my head where Colorado's here. Western Conference Finals team, and then I think we lose Colorado. And then for the Wolves, it's so hard to know because you don't know what team you're going to get.
Yeah.
You get the team that played last night against the Celtics. They could.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough to know though because Thunder and Spurs. I'm gonna say Wolves second round. We lose second round. Wild third round. Lose third round. So each team will win first round. I have Wolves losing second round. Wild making it past the first 2 rounds, losing to Colorado third round.
Yeah, see, okay, so if you go on the NHL website, actually, I'm going to look this up and try to play it on the screen here. I don't think it goes like the NFL where it's the like highest or like lowest seed after the first round plays. Like the highest seed, because I'm gonna share this on the screen real quick. Because we should have probably known this going into just covering the Wild.
So I also looked 2025. The bracket from last year. Is that even right?
See, because just look. Okay, so obviously we're playing the Stars. We know that. But I'm pretty sure we'll just be playing Colorado. I don't think it's like the highest or like the lowest seed team that wins goes to play the Avalanche, who will obviously be the highest seeded. It doesn't work like that. That's why. That's another reason why. Yeah. Okay. So we will be playing Colorado in round 2 if we win. Then the NHL. This needs to be fixed.
Then I have Wild needs to be fixed. Round.
Yeah, that's what I said. We can beat the Avalanche. We really can in a 7-game series. But coming off of probably a 6 or 7 game series against Dallas, where honestly, Colorado against Nashville in the playoffs, it's Nashville right now. That series, either a sweep or 5 games, unless a miracle happens for Nashville.
I don't think Nashville wins the game. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
comes in on rest to play us or whoever, Dallas or Minnesota, whoever wins that series. Yeah, I don't like our chances making it past the second round, which really sucks because this year is kind of the year. It could still happen. They could very well. As for my Wolves thought, like Trevor said, the West is such a cluster right now. It's just really, we don't know who we're going to play. I'm assuming we're going to get the 6, 5, or 4. I don't think we're going to be in the play-in. I really hope not. But if I
think we're okay for the play-in because I think the Wolves are kind of separating.
Well, what I'm hoping for the 6, because obviously if we have the 7 or 8 seed going into the playoffs, it's either OKC or San Antonio, which this team this year with the inconsistencies, the defense hasn't been as good. I don't see us beating either of those teams, no matter where in the playoffs you are. So you say second round for the Wolves, that's what I'm going to go to.
Yeah, I think second round. So Colorado beats Nashville if that's how the playoff format lines up.
Yeah.
If Nashville's the team that lines up against Colorado, Colorado would sweep Nashville, and then I do have faith we can beat Dallas.
I do too.
For Colorado, It's not that I don't see. It's not that I don't see it happening. It's just more like 80% Colorado. When's that 20%?
It could happen, but like I said, like they get extended rest off of playing Nashville and stuff.
Both teams for me, Wild Wolves, second round exits.
It sucks to say it. It really does. This felt like the winter of all winters for Minnesota fans. All right, next question. This one's a deep one. So this is a question about the show here from Twin Cities Lover. They're asking, what's the overall goal with the podcast and where do you expect to go with it? Also, I was one of the first subscribers, and it's great seeing the audience get bigger. That's cool. Where are the numbers expected to be sometime throughout this year? Okay, so a lot. Well, first of all, I'll say we started this podcast not expecting anything that's what happened here. Not at all.
Not at this
I'm like,
point.
no, yeah, not at this point. I knew it'd get big. I'm gonna get emotional. See, I knew it'd get big. No, but we did not expect it this fast. I mean, we've been doing this for coming up on 4 months now, and 4 months, 1,000 subscribers each month, basically, is what we're averaging. It's crazy. The overall goal, we want this to be our full-time thing, our full-time job, and we want to be in the press conferences, in the studios, in our own press suite
in the press
at
box
Twins
with the
games.
others,
Yeah, like the suite. Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. And I mean, I know we can do that I have more sponsors reaching out, and we have a lot more bigger things coming. We're doing ticket giveaways with our sponsors, doing a lot of stuff for you guys. And I feel like that's part of the reason why a lot of you have decided to subscribe. We're thankful for that, and we're super grateful for it. So, an awesome Twin Cities lover, one of the first subscribers, you said. If that's true, thank you.
Let's go.
People lie about that crap all the time to get attention, but if it's true,
I believe it.
I do too.
We believe it.
Yeah. So thank you for that. And then where are the numbers expected to be this year? Well, here's the thing. It's hard to project because, like we said, this is a kind of crazy start to this entire podcast, getting this many subscribers this early within it. So it's hard to say, but I have an app that projects it if it goes at this pace, and it doesn't have it for the whole year. But I think the last time I checked, I think it was like the end of summer, around August, September, start of the football season next year, where it says we'll be at around 12 to 15K subscribers. So if people, it would be crazy if it gets to that point. But here's the thing, Trevor and I, we know, and we are fully expecting it to slow down a little bit. I mean, I hope not, definitely hope not.
Right. Of course, just trying to be realistic.
Yeah, you can't get your hopes up. You can't get we know that with Minnesota sports. We know that better than anyone. So either way, good question. I enjoy talking about that. So all right, we'll move on. Next one, simple one here. Tammy is wondering, how many wins will the Twins have this year? Just straight up. How many wins will the Twins have this year? I will say we're going to be doing our official predictions in a few days here, kind of probably the day or day before. Opening day actually is here in 3 days, so probably tomorrow or the next day, I guess. Either way, wins this year. I want to stay hopeful, but it also depends on a lot of health reasons. I'll say a straight 76. I think the Twins will be right at or around 76, which I don't know what the tail side of that would be. 162, 76, like 80.
Mine's gonna sound so bad. I was kind of thinking around 65.
Okay.
I think that's somewhere else shot with this team.
That's completely true.
I mean, you got rid of some key core leaders. Duran, one of the best closers in baseball. Jax, who could be another great closer, was our setup guy, but pure best relievers in baseball. Jax is up there, so you get rid of two of the best relievers in baseball. We'll see how it turns out for McCable, but then the Louis Varland trade, and we don't got to go through everyone, but I think DeMorale shot a lot of.
Well, and not to mention the Twins were shopping Ryan and Pablo. Obviously, Pablo's injured and stuff, but that doesn't sit well for a player. They're trying to trade me. I don't.
Right.
What?
So now for Buxton, Jeffers, Ryan again. I think those core three guys here, especially Ryan and Buxton.
Yeah.
But for Jeffers with Carantini, that might be more of a platoon where they're kind of play equal amount of games.
Yeah.
But I mean, for those three guys, I think those are your big trade candidates, unless I'm blanking on someone. Larnach, Wallner, but they're not
worth as much
to the caliber of those three guys, or especially Ryan and Buxton. So yeah, I think morale shot. We'll see how Derek Shelton does with his first year managing us. Never really was too well in Pittsburgh. It's not like Pittsburgh was supposed to be good for his tenure, but
Not really.
I don't really know much about Pittsburgh, but you never really saw that progression from what I kind of read about when we hired Shelton and all that. So there's a little bit of concern there.
Well,
But
and
yeah,
not to mention, all of your core pieces are all injury prone. Like Wallner's had injury problems. He's going to be a core, but the main ones, Royce Lewis, Byron Buxton, arguably your two best players. Also, Luke Keeschall battled he had Tommy John when he was in the minors 2 years ago. Last year, he broke his hand. That was because of a pitch and stuff, but he was out 3 months. Yeah. There's going to be injuries, and on top, I mean, I say 75, 76. Yeah, exactly. But that might be a little bit too much, but 65 is definitely reasonable from Trevor. So, all right. Next question's coming from Bryce Anderson. He's wondering, should Chris Finch be fired? Okay, so we haven't talked about it a lot, but he says reasons like never playing young guys, inconsistencies with play on a nightly basis. And there's other reasons people could come up with to say that. The defense has taken a big slouch compared to other years. I would never fire him right now, like what the Nuggets did last year with Malone. I would not do it a week before the postseason or 2 weeks, but I will say if they keep getting the same result in the postseason where they look good in one series and then get absolutely cakewalked in a higher leverage series, Western Conference Finals obviously being the last two, Mavericks beat us in 5, OKC beat us in 5, and the Wolves, if they make the Western Conference Finals this year, I count that as a win by itself because just like Trevor and I just said, this West is loaded. I don't think we're going to make it past the second round. I don't know how long of a leash you can give Finchy, especially with a Micah Nori being right there, but it's a difficult question. Yeah.
Yeah, I may have been a little bit too aggressive however many weeks ago we were talking about it because I kind of made that point of how Denver, what you kind of brought up, made that last, or they were looking for that spark with Hedelman when they got rid of
Malone.
Yeah, Malone. I wouldn't fire Finch. It's not that he's 100% safe or anything. I don't even know if he's on the hot seat because I think he got large sample size with the Wolves who are prior to Finch and what he's built.
That's
the culture, the success, the consistency. Ant absolutely loves Finch. I really haven't seen any players make any statements
not like him.
Concerns, not liking Finch or criticizing him. Yeah, you've got Micah Nori on the bench, and there's a good chance he might get a head coaching job because I think this will be kind of year 3 where his name will be cycled around in the coaching openings for interviews. I wouldn't fire Finch. Now I know expectations. We'll see how we finish the year and what seed we get for playoffs. And I guess the seed really doesn't matter because it's a tie race. More so how they finish as a team, and then how they go into the playoffs and how the playoffs go. But I think even in worst case scenario, we lose first round to whoever that could be. I don't think you're firing Finch. At least not. You don't fire him until you start next year's season, and you kind of see how the first half of the year goes.
Yeah.
But I mean, 2 Western Conference Finals. Yeah, you really weren't too competitive in the 2 against Dallas and OKC. But then again, I mean, the history of the Wolves, most of our lifetimes prior to
this is the most success they've ever had, ever.
Pre-Edwards, so, you had the one playoff appearance, I think, with Cat in the Jimmy Butler era. Obviously, Butler kind of set the Wolves back with how that ended. A little bit. The large sample size Wolves have been a joke. So
their entire way. Yeah.
I don't think Finch is getting close fight. I don't even think he'd be on the hot seat at one point this year. It was getting dicey.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I think you got to look large picture.
Yeah. Bryce mentioned never playing the young guys, which the argument there. I mean, I don't know how I haven't checked on Rob Dillingham in Chicago, but 4th pick or 7th, 4th, whatever it was, didn't play him at all, but he didn't really prove it at all in the minutes. But A bunch of these guys have been super young too. I think he'll come around to playing them. Like Berenger, I think Berenger could have a fantastic career. But my thing, like that's what Bryce said, which is a great argument. That never playing guys inconsistencies on a nightly basis. My biggest thing is I don't even know how much Finchy has a word on this, but how the offense runs. People, if you've watched any of our Wolves episodes, we've had our friend Ebby on, who knows basketball better than really anyone, and his main thing with the Wolves is the Wolves' whole offense, and it's pretty evident as you watch. It's all iso ball. That's all it is, and they can't get away from it. It's Julius Randle, it's Anthony Edwards coming down the court and chucking up a shot with really none or close to none ball movement throughout the entire possession. And I don't know how much Chris Finch has, just his word on that at all. It might just be the players and how they play, maybe. But that would be my biggest thing if he were to be fired. That's what I would say. Like, okay, this is why, but there's a lot of different things, but I agree with Trev. I don't think he's really anywhere near getting fired. This is the most success the Timberwolves franchise has ever had. I mean, Alex Rodriguez, there's just a lot of good vibes with the team right now. Maybe not against when they're playing bad teams because they keep losing those games. But
yeah, to answer your question real quick. So we traded obviously Rob Dillingham and Leonard Miller, and then second round picks as well. Both of them are kind of identical with Chicago. They're each playing around 18 to 20 minutes a game.
Okay.
Each averaging around 8 points a game. So they are playing out, but it's very, very early on.
Oh, yeah.
Very young.
I mean, Dillingham is still super young. Yeah.
Now, defensively, I don't know how bad they are, like defensive metrics with Dillingham play defense, because obviously he'll always be the target team's attack.
Yep.
With him being undersized, but more so with Dillingham. Leonard Miller's kind of a toss-up, but he's shown some growth with Chicago. But Dillingham being Chicago's biggest investment in that trade, yeah, 8.6 points a game with Chicago, averaging 3 points and 3 rebounds.
Yeah.
So it's looking like a
better than they were here, but Chicago's a worse team, so
but they can play each of them or the Wolves.
Yep.
Competitive window. They don't really have the experience. But yeah, we'll kind of see. Now, for not playing young guys too, I think that we'll see if the Wolves will be able to retain Ayo, because I know he's restricted. But if a team is aggressive and overpays quite a bit, I don't see the Wolves matching that, and they'll just kind of cut their losses there with Ayo. So it'll be key if we can keep Ayo or not. But given just some of the contracts we're paying, I mean, just between the core 4 salaries, so you got Edwards, McDaniels, Gobert, Randall. Those 4 alone is
a lot.
Quite a bit on the cap space or luxury tax, whatever you want to call it. And then filling out the rest of the lineup, because I know Conley will be retired, so that'll be some relief and all. But I do think there will be some open spots for some young guys to step into. So Berenger,
Rocco Karsky. I want him to get some time.
Who?
Rocco.
Well, Zakarsky, I think will take a little bit of time. I don't even think
he will
play next year. But
you're talking straight next year. Okay.
Yeah. But
TJ Shannon.
We'll kind of see. But yeah, Shannon, Clark.
Yeah.
And then Berenger. We'll kind of see. Not playing young guys is valid.
Yeah.
We'll see how much they get played, if anyone gets playoff minutes. But I think Finch is going to stick to the experienced guys. You got Slow-Mo playing consistently off the bench. Naz Reid off the bench, and then
he knows he can trust them. That's the biggest thing here.
Who's the other guy I'm forgetting here? Who's our 8th guy when healthy? Naz Reid and Slow-Mo, and then why am I blanking?
Off the bench,
Wolves, like our 3rd bench guy besides Naz Reid and Slow-Mo when healthy. Oh my gosh, let me look at this real quick.
When healthy,
Bones Highland. Oh my gosh.
No.
Yeah. So you got Bones.
And Bones just had a good night against the Celtics too.
And I mean, Finch has been rolling the 8-man. Obviously, Clark played last night against the Celtics, but that's pretty much just strictly defense. With no shot attempts or anything in that game for Clark. which, I mean, we're not looking for Clark to score, so that's fine. But I think it'll be 8-man rotation. And, or sorry, it would be 9 with the Sumu because Ant would be back. We'll see how it goes. Who plays, who doesn't play. But yeah,
All in all,
I'm
though,
keeping Finch.
Finch is not going to get fired. Next, keeping on the firing train here, what would need to happen to the Vikings to get KOC fired, or how would that happen? And this is from Farouk Marsalo. I think basically, just to get this more in tune here, like if what would need to go wrong is I think what he's trying to say here.
No playoff win this upcoming year. You
think if this next year with Kyler Murray, because the Vikings, if they can stay healthy, they will most likely make the playoffs. They should. Right. They have the best. And so you think another playoff loss, first round, and you're done with KO?
Just because you have that pressure with Flores, and I mean, how many years are you going to give KOC? I mean, every team's goal.
Yeah.
Every team's realistic goal that's not in a full rebuild like the Jets or the Dolphins are. But any team that, has faith in their quarterback, good faith in the most part of their team, even if they're not like a clear championship. Regardless, if your team, if any team feels like your team, like the Vikings, can make the playoffs and then win more than just, or win in the playoffs rather than just make it and then lose.
I mean, that's the whole point.
First round.
Like,
if you can't win in the playoffs, it really makes me question, because it could really backfire and we could all look really stupid, kind of entertaining the thought. But what's the point of the constant cycle of, like you're good enough,
and you're good enough.
The Vikings don't seem like they're anywhere near a full teardown to go full rebuild.
Well, they never will be with the Wolves as owners.
And so if you're going to make playoffs, but if you don't win ever in the playoffs with KLC, not trying to knock on the guy, he's a great coach, but if you can't go the extra mile,
exactly.
What's the long-term goal there?
Well, okay.
And then like I said, you have Flores. So then you go from offensive-minded head coach, you go opposite, you got defensive-minded head coach.
Well, what you're saying is the Vikings would hire Flores right away if they fired KOC.
Yeah, keep it internal.
And so there you go. You're going to have a top 5 defense.
Your offensive coordinator would almost certainly then be Josh McCown or Keenan McCardell. I don't think Wes Phillips would return. I think he would leave the team. But you have two, McCown being a young guy, and then Keenan McCardell. Not that he's kind of in that
experienced guy. Yeah.
But I think those would be, Flores, your internal hire for head coach. And then I think Flores would keep his OC internal between McCown or Keenan McCardell. I would lean more towards McCown.
I could definitely see it. I'd be completely good and fine with it. I just have a feeling. I have a feeling that Flores and kind of the Wolves would kind of want to just get that, because then you're in a point where we have Brian Flores as head coach. We're going to have one of the best defenses in the league. And at this point, this would be what we're saying next year. So you have JJ McCarthy, 4th year starting, unless you extend Kyler Murray. It's most likely going to be JJ starting. I feel like they would go the route of getting an experienced, like proven offensive coordinator, or maybe a guy that kind of failed as a head coach, try to rejuvenate what he can do as the Vikings offensive coordinator. But just like you said, I'd be completely good. And I think McCown or McCardell would be fantastic either way. But there we go.
Worse than that too. Like if we absolutely flop and disappoint, that's kind of
if you flop this year with Kyler Murray, I don't know.
But even if Kyler gets hurt, like, because so many people are low on McCarthy, and we get the criticism, but if Kyler gets hurt, which is a very fair point because he's been hurt, he's got injury history. Like, I still have plenty of faith. The more and more experience McCarthy gets, given the offense, and now D-Hop's throwing out the idea of coming to the Vikings. I don't think that'll happen. I don't think they'll sign him. But if you do add D-Hop,
he's gonna be cheap.
I mean, it's not like we're good at depth at receiver. I mean, that is a
Mhm.
need to just kind of fill out
Yep.
and balance that receiver room. So if you add Hopkins, that only adds to the higher expectations of just succeeding
Yep.
for the regular season and then obviously in playoffs as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think
If it's gonna happen,
realistically,
it's gonna be
Vikings will probably make
this
playoffs. And
year.
then if they make playoffs and lose, I think there could be a
Big shakeup.
70% chance he gets fired. I'd put it
I
at
would say so.
roughly.
You lose to the Giants, you lose to the Rams after winning 14 games with Darnold. And the Vikings always are flip-flopping years of making the playoffs and not. I mean, 2022
That's true.
made,
It's our
2023
year.
not, 25 made or did not, 2026.
26. Make.
Yep. Either way, that's a good question. We'll have to talk about that more and more because there's just so many loopholes that you can go down. If Flores is hired, he's gonna pound the table to get rid of McCarthy and start with they're gonna go big and get a quarterback that he doesn't have to worry about, like
Yeah.
a lot of different ways. We'll have to do an episode about that. Next one is from Beer Spock. Real quick one to keep this moving. We're gonna just name the player that we're thinking of, and then we're gonna move. Twins reliever you trust the most this year. Twins bullpen is a complete crapshoot. Few experienced guys, but Trevor, who's your guy?
Sands.
Cole Sands. All
Sands
right.
followed by Rogers.
Okay. Mine is Anthony Bonda, but it's such a crapshoot. So there you go. Not much to talk about. Just a lot of experienced guys, but no one that's going to stick out at all. All right. Carl with 3 L's at the end. Carl.
Well, I think that's intentional. You know where Carl is from? It's The Walking Dead. It's
Okay.
Rick and then his son.
Yeah. Okay.
Carl. But yeah,
Well, that's probably what it is. Yeah.
I'm sure.
All right. He's asking, what are your guys' thoughts about the Vikings running back room / position right now? Obviously he's hinting at
We do have Travis Scott, right? Not Travis Scott. Oh my God. Not Travis Scott.
Yes, we do have Xavier. Yes, yeah.
Xavier Scott. The reason that name's in my head is my shuffle. Like shuffle music was going on my way back.
I'd love to see Travis Scott put up in the pads.
Like that's the first time I've heard his music, and who knows how long.
All right, let's keep it.
Yeah. Anyways,
he's obviously hinting at like Aaron Jones being retained by the Vikings, maybe putting a little bit of a grasp on the draft here, because this running back draft is very deep. Love Jadarian Price, Mike Washington, the combine stud. He's earned his way up the draft board a lot, but hometown kid Emmett Johnson, you have Nick Singleton, a few down the list, Damon Claiborne from Wake Forest, Jamari Taylor from Virginia. I'll state what I thinking, and I might be completely dead on what you're thinking too. Is I did not like bringing Aaron Jones back. Well, here's the thing. Aaron Jones is a great pass blocker, and he's a great guy to have in the locker room. But I just say cut your ties when you can. And it's not like it's going to affect the Vikings a ton, but I think the Vikings could have had a great opportunity to draft a running back day 1 or day 2, whether that be if, say, Jeremiah Love falls from 7 from the Commanders now that the Saints and the Chiefs have running backs. Now Jeremiah Love is in a spot where he might drop to 10. And I have no problem in the world with the Vikings trading a bunch of assets there to get up and draft Jeremiah Love because he's a franchise changer. That's where I stood before. But now that you re-signed, it's only a 1-year deal with Aaron Jones. But that, I think, is completely out the window. I thought there was the slightest chance before, but now it's out the window, in my opinion. I don't even know if I think they still will target a running back in the draft. They've hosted a few guys, Damon Claiborne, Emmett Johnson, on these top 30 visits before the draft here, but I don't think I don't think they're taking it as a top priority here, and I think
I think running back draft will be 6 or 7. I don't see anything higher.
Yeah, which I hate that. I hate it. And you still can get Damon Claiborne or Jamari Taylor, which those are two really fast backs, but they're not good at receiving the ball. They're horrible in pass blocking, which if you wanted someone who's kind of a mix of everything, Emmett Johnson, Mike Washington, these guys in the third round where you could snag one. I really hope they go this route because it's Aaron Jones for one more year, plus Jordan Mason. He's gone after this next year, too. He signed a 2-year deal with the Vikings after he got traded here, or a 2-year extension. He might be there for the next season after this upcoming one. I don't know. Either way, Jordan Mason, I don't want as my number one. You need a guy. I don't want Jamari Taylor. I want Emmett Johnson. I want Jadarian Price. That's how I feel about it. And the Vikings, they just didn't have any money to go sign an ETN or a Walker. I mean, they did, but you need to fill other positions. And they did that, which is a good move by them. But that's what I feel like for the running back room. Agreed, Trevor, or
Agreed.
agreed?
I'll just kind of say my 2 cents. Yeah, so you're right. Mason's contract expires after this upcoming year, so he's a pending free agent as of right now. So we'll see if he gets an extension or not. Keeping Aaron Jones, I get that. So CJ Ham, you lose the third down, obvious down blocking, and Aaron Jones is a reliable pass blocking running back that you could have him block, and then if plays get extended, which Kyler Murray scrambling quarterback,
squeeze out,
and even if he gets hurt too, and there is some debate, and we'll see as we get closer to the season and how training camp preseason goes. If McCarthy doesn't get traded, I am in the belief that McCarthy's our number 2. But just for the running back questions, or my point being, both McCarthy and Kyler can extend plays. If pressure gets to them. Kyler obviously is better at it. But with Jones, the third down blocking, so I get why they kept him. Very well liked, very well respected. One of your captains, whether he's like actually a captain or an unofficial captain.
The unsaid.
Just being
the unsaid thing.
Yeah, being one of the core leaders. And then, you've got Mason, who is a nice second down running back. So I get why they did it, especially after Etienne signed and Kenneth Walker. Now, Kenneth Walker wasn't going to come here. And Etienne wasn't almost certainly either. Etienne you could maybe debate, but probably not. So after the running back market is with who's left over, Pacheco went to the Lions. I get why they kept Jones. He took $5 million off, so I get why we did it. And like I said, I think we'll address running back in some of our last 4 or 5 picks, some of our 6th, 7th round, and then I think they really prioritize a higher draft pick in the 2027 draft at running back.
Sure hope so.
That's kind of my thoughts.
Jones being gone after this year.
Running back, I'll take it. It kind of ruins the excitement of the potential of adding a running back early in the draft.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The thing that makes me upset is obviously I was telling you guys, like the draft this year for running backs is very deep. Right now, I can't name a college guy that's a standout for next draft. Like next year's draft is already way weaker than this draft. I mean, I watch a lot of college football. I know the ropes very well. I cannot name a running back that even is in the conversation.
Well, so are you? Yeah. So, but that could at times be a blessing in disguise because although there may not be a very popular first round, like this is the number 1 running back, sometimes that can in the balance, it balances it out, right? So although there may not be that true number 1 or top 2 running backs that are going to go early, that could be a lot of running back depth. And so I don't know, but that's not always the case either. It could just be a dud of a class for running back. I mean, there's the dud quarterback class with the Malik Willis draft and the Kenny Pickett, and wasn't Will Levis part of that too? That draft here. So we'll see how it plays out.
My last argument for this is just the fact that we need KOC to run the ball on a more consistent basis, and this running back tandem this year did not do it for him. He will not run the ball. That was the thing I talked about most this offseason is that if you get Love, that's 100% KOC is going to be running the ball 55, 60% of the time. But even if you get like a Jadarian Price or Emmett Johnson, a guy with actual breakout speed, Aaron Jones cannot run faster than a defensive back anymore. Like he's not fast per se. He doesn't have that breakaway speed. Jordan Mason doesn't either. Jordan Mason's your third down back. That was my main thing I've talked about is if you went and drafted a guy day 1 or 2 of the draft, you're forcing KOC's hand here to run the ball a little bit. But if that's next year, we're going to see if KOC's the coach based on our other conversation for next year. But either way, thank you, Carl, for that. All right, last question here.
No, it's Carl.
Carl. Yes, sorry. Thank you, Carl. All right, Hector Morales said, new subscriber here. 2 questions. Are you guys doing more ticket giveaways in the future? That's the first one. So right away, I'll just answer this quick. He's talking about the Twins giveaway. If people haven't looked at that Twins giveaway, we're announcing in 4 days from now. Very good tickets, section 107, row 6. People go register to win those. But for future ticket giveaways, I'm hoping that we have the chance to do a Vikings one next season for a Vikings game. But it really just depends on what our sponsors are feeling because we have our sponsors if they want to hop in on these and kind of promote their brand out there because these get thousands and thousands and thousands of views for us and a lot of response to them. Also, thank you, Hector, for the new subscribe. Is that the right terminology for that? For the new subscribes, this new subscription?
Yeah.
Weird one. Yeah, but we want to. We'll probably do one of the maybe promotional games for the Twins later in the year. But depends on the timing. We'll definitely do more of them. We just don't know when. So hope that answers. Do not unsubscribe because we don't know. Next one. What are your guys' favorite NFL draft prospects going into the draft is what he's asking. I kind of just got done naming half of mine. Either way, though, it's like if we're talking 18th pick in the draft for the Vikings, they're going to be almost certainly going after the secondary to help out or interior defensive line. You're not going to unless somehow maybe Mekhi Lemon, the receiver out of USC, somehow drops to a team, you're not going to be drafting offense at all. It's going to be in the secondary and guys that stick out, which we've talked about before. Dylan Thieneman from Oregon, the safety. My thing with him is he can adjust any defensive system, but he was the highest graded coverage safety in the draft. And in this defense, it just doesn't suit him as well. Like I said, he's good at adjusting to it, but then again, if you do lose Flores after this year, he can adjust any defense, which is great. But the talent is there undeniably. I would take him if he was one of the choices there. You'd have to give him a look. But also McNeil Warren, I'm forgetting his third name, but the guy from Toledo, safety, 6'3", huge hitter. Watch his tape, people. He is Harrison Smith 2.0. He's a rocket just coming out of an entire gun. Just he shoots up every single dude that walks past in the middle of the field. It is phenomenal to watch, and I want that in our team. But those are the safeties, kind of corners. If in some way Jermod McCoy falls to you at 18, which we've seen a couple times, but more realistic corners.
Safety, Oregon, Thieneman.
Yeah, Thieneman. Yeah, he's the safety. I just talked about him.
Yeah. And then later,
Avion Terrell.
Yeah.
Avion Terrell from Clemson, AJ Terrell's brother. Colton Hood, he's going to be available late first round if you were to trade back or something. But interior defensive line, there's Peter Woods from Clemson, and he's really the only one I could really see falling. Unless somehow Sonny Styles at linebacker, he fell, but those are kind of the top guys if we're talking pick 18. So,
did you name your favorite receiver from the university?
I was just about to. But wide receiver will be a position they probably address at some point. Unless maybe they go get D-Hop, but it'll be a day 2 or day 3 pick for a receiver. But my guy from Tennessee, Chris Brazzell, 6'5", vertical jump, one of the best in the combine. I just looked it up yesterday. I think he was third in receivers in the vertical jump, but he has hands like glue, and he ran a 4.3740. So he's my number one receiver for like realistic options for the Vikings. They're not going to be drafting first round, like we said, but him, I really like the kid out of UConn. I'm completely blanking on his name right now. But I know he's 6 foot 180. He's a really crispy route runner. I'm just completely, what was that?
Is it Lemon?
No, Lemon's USC. He's first round. But no, the kid from UConn is going to go 4th or 5th round. So that's a depth guy that I've always liked and I've always looked at. Maybe Jacoby Lane. The Vikings have said, the last two guys I'll say here, Jacoby Lane or Malachi Fields, both receivers that are 6'4". The Vikings came out and said they are looking for a taller receiver that can high point a ball, fade routes in the red zone, just be a big red zone threat. Malachi Fields and Jacoby Lane should go late 3rd, early 4th. So that's a definite realistic option for the Vikings if they want to go that route.
Skylar Bell.
Skylar Bell, yeah. He's my kid from UConn. He's 6 foot, really crispy route runner, hands like glue. He was actually in the discussion for the Blinkenhoff award, which is the best receiver in college football this past season. So there's a few receivers. I talked about the running backs. I'm not going to go in depth with the offensive or defensive line really, but yeah, there it is. Unless you have anyone else to note.
I think you kind of did a good overall depth. Yeah, like that.
Yeah. And stay tuned too, because we'll have more mock drafts. We've done probably 8 or 9 of them so far. They're really fun to do, but draft is under a month away now. So we'll have a lot more for mock drafts coming out. And I guess we'll do more themed ones too, where the Vikings trade back every single pick, even in the 7th round. Yeah, either way, there's your prospects for the draft. And that was the last question. So there's 9 good listener jam questions. I still have a couple. So for the people that we didn't get to tonight, we'll get to a different episode where we kind of do a whole thing here, listener GM, whole episode. But for tonight, that's it. That's it, people. I hope you all enjoyed that, because I like reading the comments. I like getting back to them. So it's always fun.
Just fresh ideas that we don't think of either. So yeah
exactly. If you guys have ideas for future episodes you want to see, put them in the comments or DM the Twin City Sports Talk Instagram account. Do it all. But either way, for tonight, make sure all of you do go subscribe to the channel. Ticket giveaway, go register for that. Follow the Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. And we will see you guys again tomorrow.